continue on to set. And this is now again a Linux tool. And set is short for stream editor, or it's named for being a stream editor, and it's a very powerful command. It's used for textual processing, for parsing and transforming text. And it actually is using a simple programming language, one that is, as far as I know, not Turing complete. After awk was developed, set and awk are often used together in scripts, and they are together considered progenitors and an inspiration to Perl, if you know that. So the syntax is set and some options and a command, and then input file or files. My option are optional flags that modify the behavior of the set command. Command is a command or sequence of commands, and input file is one or more input files. So common options is -I, edit the file in place without printing to the console, and overwrite the file. So that is what you use if you are making changes to a file. For instance, with set, you can tell it to make the changes and overwrite the file that is already there instead of creating a new one. -N, suppress automatic printing of lines. -E, multiple commands executed. -F, reads set commands from file instead of command line. Or -R will enable regular expressions. And here are some common regular expressions, which I'm not going to talk of further, since we already covered the regular expressions yesterday. So what is set most usually used for? And at least for me, I commonly use it for substitution. If I know I need to change something in a file a lot of times. And the syntax for that is set, and mine, then you have these apostrophes around it, and S and slash. S is for substitute, and then it ends with /G. G is for global, that's all instances. And in between, you have a regular expression or something to be searched for. It could be a text string, and then the replacement that you need to put there instead of the thing you find. And then the input file, and then redirect symbol to output file. So it takes this input file, it finds this regular expression, for instance, a string. It replaces all instances of it, and then you get an output file that has these changes made to it. And you can instead put -I and then just do it to the original file. The slash is the delimiting symbol that is usually used. So let's take some examples. And I think that it's probably a good idea to code along. Try go to the directory called set under exercises, and use the file file1.txt. So I'm now going to show you first what's inside this text file. It looks like this. Just me who did a stream of consciousness and wrote crap in this and the other files. And now I am going to change all the instances of the word cat. So I'm searching for cat. I'm changing it to ferret. All of instances. And if I'm just giving the file name and not an output file, we'll just throw it to screen. So let's do that. And as you can see here, it took all instances of cat and changed to ferret. What if I instead wanted to write it to file? Well, I would then do this redirect, and I will just create an output file with text. And let's look at the output. And it has the same content. So that was good. So maybe you only wanted to replace some of the occurrences in the line, because it could be that you have a data file with some columns or whatever, and you know that you need to make the changes in the third one or something like this. So let's look at file 3, what's inside of it. As you can see here, there are many instances of the same word. I have the word several times. So I will now try and switch the third occurrence, if there is such a line, to book instead. And it indeed did this. What then if I want to replace occurrences from spot N and the rest of the one? I can do that as well. Then I say 3 and G for global after that. And in this case, there was not any more cases than this, so let's put 2 instead. And then it took number 2 and 3 from that one. And I can also just replace the occurrence of a string on a specific line. To do that, I list the line number first. So I'll do this here. I remove global. I go here and put it for line 3. And then it only replaced it on line 3. Let's just get the file. As you can see. And you can also put parentheses around the first character of each word. This is just an example of a more complicated example. But I'm not going to do that now, because I would like to just have a little time for the quality of life as well. And you can also, as you see, there are some instances where there are plurals, and maybe you didn't want those, for instance. So let's assume you only wanted to change cat to dog when it was in the singular form. So here it's simply checking for that. And yeah, that's the only thing it does. So it doesn't do dogs to dogs. So you can try those out. And it's also possible to filter specific lines with D command. And it's possible to delete specific lines. And you can also say every line that has a specific pattern, I will delete those. So maybe you want to know that you want to delete line 4, or maybe you just know there was a line with the word cat in, or I want to delete all lines that mentions something in my data set. And then you can also do that. And it's very common to use it as part of a pipeline. So maybe you have some program that generates something, and you know that you need to make changes in it because you have a program, you made an error in the program, and you just fix it afterwards instead of going in and changing the program. So you just, in this case, as soon as it's printing out things, you just switch that one part of it. And as I mentioned before, if you put the -I flag or option, then it does the changes directly in the file you input instead of throwing to screen or instead of wanting an output file. Okay, I will